Hey guys, welcome to this video tutorial about how to make a glitch hop track. We're going to start with the drums. So the first thing we do is get a drum rack and throw it onto our first MIDI channel. We rename that one drums. And this second MIDI track I'm going to use later for the groove, so I'll just rename that one now. Keep everything nice and organized. And I'm going to want those two audio tracks, so I'll create a third one with Command or Control T. Let's rename this last one resampling and take our audio from here, go to resampling, and I'll just make this one red. Sweet, so this creates a track that can record the samples that we hear, and then we can create our own sample from multiple samples. So let's get into arrangement view and find some samples. So my go-to library is this Dark Side Funk sample pack. It's got a bunch of tuned kicks that I really like. So let's have a listen to them. Sweet. So I like this one. I like the bass in that, so I'll chuck this one down the bottom for bass. And I kind of like this knock in this one here. Sweet. So first thing we'll do is EQ them. Sweet, so let's just listen to this one on its own. I can't use the solo button because of the way my microphone works. Alrighty. Yeah, that's good. And this top one, let's try an EQ on that. About 1K. Let's go just under. And there's some rank top in there. That's good, so let's hear them together. That's cool. Sweet, so now we hit record arm on this resampling here and just record it. Alrighty, sweet, just make sure we haven't clipped. Cool. Alright, and let's delete them for now and bring this back in and do some processing, which means we get rid of this EQs as well, and this EQ. Alright, so let's bring up those fundamentals there. I don't really like this low mid-range. And a bit of skin on it to help it cut through. It's normally around the 2K area, 2 or 3. Cool. Like that. And let's bring a 4-pole low pass down to about 30 Hertz. Just to get rid of all that bottom end that's not really contributing anything. Maybe bring it up to 40. Cool. Then the next thing we're going to do is chuck in a transient designer. Now you can get around not having a transient designer by hooking something up to a really short reverb, and that could be, adding a bit of attack, and then you could use a compressor or fades to affect the sustain. It's not a good way of doing it, but it's a free way. I prefer to just buy a transient designer, and this one from Neutron's really good, so check it out. Let's activate the multiple bands. We'll leave the bass, or maybe a bit more attack. No. Alrighty, let's see what these mid-ranges like. Sweet. And let's tighten that up. And our highs. Yeah. And let's let that come out a bit. Alrighty, that's how it all sounds. Cool. I'm pretty happy with that. So let's record it again. Sweet. Delete that, delete our. We'll leave them there for now. And then we can just drag this into our drum rack. Whoop. Come on. Here we go. Sweet. Cool. So let's just keep everything labeled. So we'll rename that one kick. Sweet. Sometimes it helps as well to have a ghost kick. So let's go back to our samples. This would work well as well. That's that same one we had before. We'll just EQ this. And we don't want that low end in there. And let's get rid of that high end too. Just a bit of a knock. Sweet. Let's record that. So the ghost kick, I like to call knock, because it's got that kind of knock sound. Alrighty. And what else do we need? We need a snare. So now we know our kicks are in F. You don't really have to have tuned drums, but sometimes it can sound good. Kind of like that. Yeah, we can work with that. This one's tight, but a bit too tight. This one we can make a bit tighter. Sweet. So we'll just drag that into here, and we'll replace it later. Alright, we'll do this top one here. An EQ. Alright. Let's get rid of the first couple and get rid of that. Actually, we'll turn it to a shelf EQ and just bring up to fatten the snare out a bit. Alrighty. And then let's bring up about 4K. Right. Kind of liking the sound of that. And our transient designer. Sweet. So alright, there's a bit too much going on at 2K here, so let's just bring this down, maybe get a notch, bring down 2K or that mud, and quite a sharp Q on it. Let's see how this sounds. Sweet. So let's make that tight. Sweet. And this middle. And we want this snare to kind of ring. So we can bring the sustain up. And how about the high? Maybe if that comes in a bit slower. Yeah. Let's see how that all sounds together. Kind of rings too. Alrighty. And let's just fade this out a little more. So let's work with the fades here. Cool. I like that. Let's record this. Cool. Rename that snare. Alrighty. So you get the picture. You can really change things however you want. So let's get a closed hat. Oh, I like that one already. Cool. Sweet as. Again, I keep doing that. Sweet. So this one here, just gonna get a quick. Oh, let's just go up here. Get rid of that. So bring this down to a 1 pole. And let's turn that one off and just bring up the air on that. And we want the whole thing to be pretty tight with the closed hat. Cool. And one other thing that goes well in a kind of hip hop style drum is the rides. So let's go to cymbals, rides. Oh, I like the sound of that. It's just too long. Sweet. We can fix that. So I like that EQ for it. Let's have a look. Maybe a bit less there. And then let's really get rid of that. Tighten this up. Really bring down the sustain there. And then bring in that fade. No. Cool, I like that. Maybe a bit less aggressive on this Transient Designer. Cool. And there you have your own sounds that are made from some samples, which is a nice way to get something that sounds within the genre, but which is also yours. Cool. So let's make a beat. What have we got here? Righty, let's just start with 2 bars. Command Shift M to make a MIDI track. Get rid of that. Cool. So let's 16s. Cool. So let's just loop this, Command L, play it, and let's start with it. Alrighty, let's get this to 110 BPM. Notice how I've put this on the 16th note here. That's because we're going to add in a little swing later, and then that'll fit right on the groove. So when we're making glitch music, we really want to add a swing. There's a few ways you can do this. You can go in, create your own groove if you want. You can, now we're making a 16, so let's keep this as 16s. If you want, so you can draw out your pattern. And then you can get every second one. And then you can drag that off to the right slightly. Sweet. So this here, then you can click extract grooves. And then you can add the groove in here. That's got a good swing to it. The other way that you could do it is go into these packs here, core library, swing and groove, swing, and then pay attention here. So you've got 8, 16 and 32. We're going to be using swing 16. Try like 65. You can hear it there. You can drag that over the MIDI clip. And then you have. Now if you want to figure out what this groove is and record it, you can press Command-Shift-T to create a new MIDI track. You can record that from Groove. And then so we'll delete this, Command-Shift-M, bring this to 16th notes, and draw in. So we can then put this swing over that. Actually, what we'll do, don't even need this MIDI track. You can just get your groove to record from drums and make sure that this is in your hats. Sweet. So turn record arm on. Sweet. So now you have a MIDI recording here with the swing recorded. And then that way you can extract one of these swings into your groove here. And it's always really handy to have a visual representation of your groove for later use in the track. I'll show you what I mean. So we'll just move that back a little bit, and let's just use this swing 16. Sweet. Okay. So we've got this loop. And let's make it 4 bars. Alright. So now we need to get some breaks. We'll chuck resampling up here. Let's make a couple more audio tracks. Alright, let's go back into our sample pack. And let's get some loops. Oh, I like the end of that. Not onto groove. Sweet as. But I only want that right at the end here, so we'll just duplicate that a little bit there. Sweet. Actually, before we do this, what I want to do is warp everything. So we'll get rid of the groove and create our own one later. Quick way to do this is Command U. Highlight the whole area. Command U. And that'll just snap everything to grid. Sweet. Then we'll duplicate this bit. Alright, listen to another one. Alrighty. So we'll just start with 2 of these. And there's a couple of ways you can do this. One thing you can do. Oh, I got rid of that groove, didn't I? Oh well, I'll do it the other way. So when you have that groove, you can go in, slice things up and move them around to fit exactly where the groove is. That works quite well with things like bass lines. But here we can just go to the groove pool, choose that groove that we chose before, or in this case we're using the Swing 16. Actually, no, let's use the one we made up. Chuck it on everything. Sweet. So when we're doing this, we're working with different times, or time signatures and BPM. We need to look at this thing here. So we're using percussion, so we want to preserve the beats. We can go to Complex Pro, which is really good for synths and things like that. But with beats, we use beats, and we use this thing here. So what it will do is when it gets to the end of a clip, it will just stop. This will play the clip from the beginning again, and this will go from backwards and forwards. You can try them out and you'll see what I mean. That's kind of glitchy though. So let's get rid of this here. Cool. Now we need to do some EQing and side chaining. So in both cases, let's chuck an EQ on. And just get rid of the bass. you don't want bass frequencies competing with each other, otherwise you get phase issues. So do this, and then we'll create some sidechain compression. Sweet, so we turn the input from drums, and we'll do this one from your kick. Sweet as. So let's just duplicate this, and we'll do this one from drums and from your snare. And let's group these. Sweet. So let's bring that ratio up to, I like about 3.5. And then we'll get our threshold for our kick, map that to macro 1, our attack, macro 2, release macro 3. Same thing with the snare, so threshold macro 5, attack macro 6, release to 7. Let's rename this, so kick, threshold, and snare, threshold. Sweet. And I like to color code things as well, so we'll keep all the kicks red and all the snares beige. Might not be beige, but I'm colorblind. Sweet. So generally want to keep our attack pretty short for sidechain. And let's just bring that look ahead to 10 milliseconds for both of them as well. Cool. So we can get rid of them and just use this. So release time and your threshold's going to vary depending on the sample. But we're going to be probably somewhere around the 20 to 30 mark. Sweet. I'm just going to group these, copy this and bring it into here as well. Alrighty, let's turn this one off. So what I've done there is just made it so you can hear the kick and the snare from these drums really well, and then the hats and other percussion from these two loops, they come straight on through. So there you have a pretty funky break. Alrighty, from there you can go experiment, add more loops, come up with different arrangements, and yeah, go nuts. That's how you make drums for Glitch Hop. Alrighty, thanks.